Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to discuss a fascinating question. How should we understand time and space? It's always been such a mystery, and in ancient civilization, time and space were also being worshipped as the fundamental principle or the ultimate reality. And nowadays, we're always curious, what is time? What is space? Today, we are going to use just one episode to resolve this mystery, and I hope it will give you a satisfying answer. Alright, first of all, let's try to understand what is time. It's been a period of time that we believe that time and space are just the background. There is like an invisible clock, just tick tock all the time. Doesn't matter what we do, doesn't matter the circumstances or our relationship with other relational structures. This clock never stops, is always fixed. So this is how we understand time during the time of Newton's classical physics. But then Einstein suggests that something different. So that's been a revolution of our understanding during the general relativity. And then we go to the stage of the understanding of quantum physics that is even further. Okay, now ask yourself one question. If right now all the relationship in this universe just suddenly stopped changing, like there's no vibrating atoms, there's no light traveling, there's no thought, no life, there's no heartbeat, there's no changing gravitational interactions. So in these circumstances, would 1 second still exist? In these circumstances, what does it even mean of 1 second or 1 minute or 1 hour? It would be meaningless, right? So the answer is no. What we call a second is simply a unit we created. It's just the concept we created by observing regular patterns of change, like such as the Earth's motion, like the atomic vibration, and countless of other ongoing processes even within our body or in nature. So that means what? That means without change, there is no time. There is no point of time. If there is no change, then all these units, all these concepts of 1 minute, 1 second, 1 hour lose all the meaning. So this is the truth about time. Time is not a river like flowing independently of other relationship. Time is a concept emerges through the relational structures process, through their activities, through their flowing. So this is time, right? Time is a concept we created to describe the change of the relational structures. And then we use the same logic to understand what is space. Imagine, right? Imagine if there is just you. There's literally just you in this entire vast universe. Then there is no other object. There is no any other relational structure there. Then is there any point of what is centimeter, what is meter, what is light year? There is pointless. It will be pointless. Why? Because there is no other objects to have a distance with you. There is no distance, then there is no space. When there is no space, all these units lose its meaning. So again, this is how should we understand space. Space is also, it's just the concept that we created to describe the distribution of the relational structures. Like our distance with another relational structures, the different direction between this relational structure compared to another relational structure. So we can locate a specific relational structure. But if there is only one, then it loses its point. So distance, this concept is within the concept of space, right? So distance can only exist between at least two relational points. Direction only exists through relationships among multiple things. Position always depends on our reference. So space is not an like an empty container or something like that waiting to be filled. It's not like that, because space is the relational network itself. Therefore, time and space are not absolute backgrounds that existed before universe. Definitely not. They emerge through the continuous movement, transformation, and reorganization of relationships. Without relational change, there is no time, and without relational structure and distinction, there is no space. So from the perspective of relational non-duality, time and space, they were never ever pre-existed, and they are never ever some kind of background. They are just the concept and units we created in order for us to be conveniently describing those relational structures. That's all its function. It's not some kind of universal reality or some eternal background, not like that. So what I really see here is a pattern. Is a way of thinking that along all the history of humankind, we are like this. We're trying to fight stability. We're trying to seeking for security. We're trying to fight something unchanging, some unchanging background, some ultimate unchanging observer, and even a background of time or space. We just consider them as something still, something as never change. But is that reality? That's not reality. And let me tell you something, that during a period of time that there were this kind of thought is trying to fight something called pure consciousness. And this concept is suggesting that is the essence of consciousness, and which is completely is detached from your thought, detached from your emotion, detached from what you call it consciousness. And it's the same thing. They face the same question, just like what we discussed earlier. If without thought, without emotion, without all of these things, is there still a point? Is there still you can call it as consciousness? Obviously not. So again, without distinction between objects, is there still a concept? Is there still meaning of distance? If there is no change, is there still meaning of 1 second, 1 minute, or 1 year? Obviously not. So it's the same thing. But this is just a pattern of our way of thinking. We're trying to fight security. We try to fight something unchanging. But we just cannot easily let go of this attachment that everything flows. We cannot accept this fact that everything flows. We cannot, reconcile with it. And that's the huge problem. And the thing is, I'm not against to using concept. You see, we communicate with each other. We use language, we use concept, we build concept. It's just for conveniency. But the problem is that when you imagine there is actually an invisible clock somewhere, it's like just tick-tock, tick-tock all the time, and that is something called time. And that is just something fixed existing there. That is the time it becomes problematic. It's okay that we use concept, but we should know that it's just the point towards the direction, but it's not what it actually represents. It's not when we say time, time is already a fixed entity or a substance or something already there. And I really admire Indian philosophy. I really do. But at the same time, I think about understanding this forever motion, about this forever flow. And Chinese philosophy, it had so much a deeper understanding on this during very, very ancient time. For example, like ancient Chinese philosophy took a very different direction long ago about this part. Like in I Ching it says that 生生之为义. 生 means generation. So it's not about 王生 that just means generation. 生 means continuous generation. So continuous generation is what yi truly means. The key idea here is not simply generation, like a one-time generation, no, but continuous generation. It does not suggest that the world was created once by some eternal substance or first cause. No. Instead, it points to existence itself as an ongoing process of becoming. creation is not a single event in the distant past. It's the universe's eternal mode of being. So the Tao Te Ching also, Tao Te Ching presents a similar vision. It does not describe the Tao as a static object or an unchanging entity. It never says something like that, never ever. Instead, it says that the Tao give rise to one, one give rise to two, two give rise to three, and three give rises to 10,000 things. So here, the word give rise to does not refer to a one-time act of creation. It describes a never-ending process of emergence and continual unfolding. Zhuangzi takes this idea even further. He says that as things are being born, they are already dying. As they are dying, they are already being born. So life and death are not two completely separate states, but two aspects of the same continuous flow of transformation. So from this perspective, what is truly enduring is not any particular objects or substance, but the ongoing process of change, renewing, and continuous becoming itself. So this is the wisdom of understanding change in ancient Chinese philosophy. But not only. In Buddhism, we see the similar wisdom as well. In Buddhism, the teaching of dependent origination and shunyata are not attempts to discover a hidden substance behind the universe. We already know that we discussed so many times before. Dependent origination teaches that everything exists through relationships and conditions. Nothing can exist independently or in isolation. And shunyata teaches us that all phenomena lack of a fixed, permanent, and self-existing essence. And it is precisely because nothing possesses an unchanging intrinsic nature. So the universe remains infinitely open to change, transformation, and continuous emergence. So basically, it's right because there is shunyata, that there is no fixed essence there. There is just the full of potentiality. That's why all phenomena are possible. So shunyata does not mean that nothing exists. Rather, it is because everything is empty of an independent essence that everything can continually arise, transform, and pass into new forms. If all things persist an eternal, unchanging essence, then the universe would become fixed and frozen, and genuine change would no longer be possible. So this is the same goes to the topic we discussed today about time and space. There is no, time and space are not a fixed essence. They are not something should be understood as the ultimate reality, an unchanging reality or something like that, an unchanging background. Because this way of thinking is just because our mind trying to seeking for some unchanging stuff for security reason. But eventually we will always fail because there is nothing unchanging. We are in this endless process of changing, endless process of flowing. We are ever flowing. Everything is in motion. Everything is in change. We should just join, participate, and enjoy this reality rather than trying to deny it, rather to trying to attach ourselves to some unchanging thing because that creates suffering, honestly speaking. But anyway, I know that when we discuss this time and space, we discuss so much like philosophical or even spiritual aspect. But I think this is just how this channel works, because if it's just about scientific analyzing, then I just probably use 5 minutes is already done. And I think it makes perfect sense about how we understand time and space. It only literally just require you to ask yourself one question. You will find, yeah, there's no point of time and space if there is no distance, if there is no change. So it's just as simple as that, really. All right, now let's discuss something interesting which related to the topic of time and space. For example, like We're trying to say that, okay, if in this sense, it's not even fixed, it's just a concept in your mind, then is time and space objective or subjective? For example, this is an interesting question. I'd say that our experience and our definition of time and space is a combination of our objective and our subjective relationships with time and space. Because we know that everything we define, even our concepts or something, is based on our experience of something first. So during our experience, our subjective and objective relationship are just continues to emerge, continues to build relationship with us that create our experience. So first of all, what I call objective relationships are those that continue to operate regardless of how we personally feel. For example, our cells continuously carry out metabolism, and our hearts keep beating. Our nervous system keep transmitting signals. The earth continues to orbit the sun. Stars continue to evolve. So all of this, these are the processes that follows its own rhythms. They do not stop simply because time feels fast or slow to us, nor do they disappear because our emotions change. In this sense, they form an objective network of relationships between ourselves and the universe. But at the same time, we also have another kind of relationship with these processes, which is our experiential or our subjective relationship. The same hour can feel incredibly long to someone who is waiting, yet pass in what seems like a moment for someone deeply absorbed in creative work, for example. The same 1 kilometer distance may feel effortless to an athlete, but extremely challenging to someone recovering from an injury. So what changes here is not our objective relationship with other relational structures, but the way we experience these relationships. Our emotion, attention, memories, expectation, and physical condition all influence how we organize and interpret them, give rise to different experiences of time and space. But more importantly is that these two kinds of relationship, they are not separate or independent. They just constantly influence each other. Before, when we discussed the body-mind relationship, we talk in such a detail about these things. If you are interested, please have a look, my friend. And now I'd like to discuss something a little bit philosophical again, is that I don't deny that the beauty of the universe. And I mean, we all can see the elegance of the universe, the beauty of it. And there is something eternal. I would say there is definitely something eternal. But what this eternity is, I don't understand it as something still, something unchanging. I believe this eternity itself is forever change, forever flow. So in this way, it's something that if we understand this, we just feel, oh, the world just crashed and there is no point of life. Definitely not. Definitely not. Because we are always in this motion and the reality is full of potential. Everything is full of possibility. Is this kind of worldview so sad that we will feel like the world just, there's no point? Of course not. So when we understand reality as forever flow, is a relief, is a liberation. It's not something that you should feel sad about, you should feel insecure about. This is something I need to say it again. I know I probably already mentioned it before, but it's just so important, so I'd like to emphasize it again. Well, anyway, this is my understanding of time and space. I hope you enjoyed this episode, my friend. If you like it, if you like this channel, please subscribe. You can also support me through Buy Me a Coffee link. Thank you so much. I will see you in next episode. Bye for now.